I get it, you're staring at a list of ultra-large touchscreens, and the fear of dropping a big chunk of budget on the wrong one is real. You've probably seen glossy ads promising effortless collaboration, but the reality of wiring, mounting, and daily use can feel a lot less glamorous. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. So let's cut through the hype and see whether the NEC CB651Q2 actually earns its place in a meeting room, a classroom, or a design studio, or if it's just another expensive billboard. First off, the category itself is a niche that sits between a regular monitor and a full-blown interactive whiteboard. What you're buying isn't just a screen, it's a shared workspace that expects several people to tap, drag, and annotate at the same time. That 10-point touch is the headline feature, and it matters because most collaborative work today isn't a one-person affair. In practice, the NEC's touch grid feels solid enough that 2 or 3 engineers can sketch a circuit diagram together without fighting over who gets the cursor. The surface isn't overly glossy, which means you don't end up with phantom touches from stray light, a problem you see with cheaper panels that claim touch-ready, but bulk under bright office lighting. If you're running a conference room that regularly hosts client presentations or design reviews, the size and resolution become a real advantage. The 65-inch screen gives you enough real estate to pull up a high-resolution CD model and still have room for video calls on the side. People who have tried to squeeze a 4K video onto a 55-inch panel often complain about having to squint or constantly zoom. The larger format eliminates that. In a classroom setting, teachers can project a textbook page and let up to 10 students interact simultaneously, which is something a standard whiteboard can't replicate without extra hardware. The built-in collaboration software that ships with the unit, you'll need to install it, but it's included, integrates with common platforms like Microsoft Teams and Zoom, so you're not forced into a proprietary ecosystem. Now, the strengths become weaknesses when you look at the practical side of ownership. The unit weighs well over 100 pounds, which means you need a professional installer or a very sturdy wall mount. That's fine for a permanent installation, but if you're the type who likes to reconfigure your space every few months, you'll feel the cost of moving it quickly add up. The power draw is also higher than a regular monitor, so you'll want a dedicated circuit or a UPS that can handle the load during power hiccups. Some users have reported a slight lag, nothing that ruins a presentation, but if you're doing rapid, finger-drumming gestures in a live demo, it can feel a touch sluggish compared to a dedicated tablet. Another hidden trade-off is the ecosystem of accessories. The CB651Q2 offers a handful of USB ports and HDMI inputs, which cover most laptops and media players, but you'll quickly discover that you need an external audio solution if you want clear sound for video calls. The built-in speakers are adequate for a small huddle, but a medium-sized conference room will need a separate sound system, adding to the total spend. On the software front, the touch driver works well with Windows, but Mac users have to install an extra compatibility layer, which can be a minor annoyance. Who should walk away with a checkbook and a delivery date? If you manage a corporate boardroom that hosts cross-departmental workshops, a university lab that encourages group problem-solving, or a design studio that needs to display intricate renderings while letting several designers annotate in real time, this NEC display hits the sweet spot. The combination of UHD clarity, large physical size, and true 10-point touch makes it a single-device solution that would otherwise require a projector, a separate touch overlay, and a collaboration platform. For those environments, the higher upfront cost is justified by the reduced need for additional hardware and the smoother meeting flow. Who should skip it? If you're a freelancer working from a home office, a small startup that only needs occasional screen sharing, or a teacher who only needs a basic interactive board for occasional lessons, the CB651Q2 is probably overkill. The price point sits well above typical consumer 4K TVs, and the installation requirements mean you'll spend more on mounting hardware and possibly a professional install than the display itself. In those cases, a mid-size interactive flat panel or even a regular monitor paired with a separate touch overlay can deliver most of the collaborative benefits without the bulk. Overall, the NEC CB651Q2 feels like a purpose-built tool rather than a general-purpose screen. Its value comes from the way it consolidates several pieces of equipment into one large, touch-enabled canvas, and from the confidence that the touch response will hold up under multiple users. The trade-offs: weight, power, and the need for a dedicated audio setup are real, but they're the kind of compromises you expect when you step into the professional-grade collaborative space. If those compromises line up with your room's layout, your budget, and the way your team works,